I need you to wash the chicken blood out of her hair. Why do you have chicken blood in your hair, though? Stop. I'm really curious. Like, how does that even happen? You got fried chicken? Maybe not a Haitian, bro. You actually do. Nobody give a fuck about you fanning. Fanning ass. Yeah, y'all see her. Hold on, baby. Love when you do my hair. I just love when I do your hair too. I'm walking out right now. You can walk out, but go ahead.
Say, alright, so first and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakodash. We say double on our apostle and elders, our great most and our ruler, our teachers, our apostles in truth, and we see salutations, solely act, and we push you with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or season. We say Shalom. Once again, going into our video here, and it's basically touching upon, you know how these Israelite women hold the love of witchcraft. Right now, it goes into that video that I played at the beginning, where, as you can see, a woman went to get her hair done, but she had chicken blood on her hair, right? And you did hear it at the beginning, where I believe the hairdresser was saying, it could be if she was asking if she's Haitian, if it's voodoo or something along those lines, right? Now, to take for granted that sometimes people do these type of videos just for content sake, and I know most likely could just be like a lie or just be a skit, right? But what I want to use it as a form of edification, because a lot of women outside here and men as well, right? They are doing a lot of witchcraft when it comes to they believe in the witchcraft, they believe in sorcery, they believe in going to these in these magicians, these warlocks, right? In the Caribbean here, we would say voodoo, we would say obia, right? We would say black magic, right? When in the Caribbean, when a woman tells her she going to meet mother, right? The term mother, when they use it in that particular context, it usually means they're going by a witch, right? Or if they say, well, I go and check father, in that particular context, like that scenario, that would mean they're going to meet a warlock, a sorcerer, right? And again, a lot of women believe in these sorceries. They believe in these types of stuff. So let me just read this description here. See, developing in Miami. A Miami hairstylist shared that a client arrived for her appointment with chicken blood mixed in her hair. Viewers quickly urged her not to touch it, warning that it might be linked to witchcraft voodoo, which is widely used here in Miami, or some kind of ritual, right? So pay attention as you say, which is widely used here in Miami, because there's a lot of women, that turning to witchcraft to get some sort. They believe that it will get them money, it will give them the man that they seek, it will help them do all these things. So they turn into this evil, right? Now, before I continue, let me go to a scripture here. I would like to start with, let me go to Isaiah chapter 5, and let me read verse verse 20. Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20. They say, woe to them that call evil good and good evil. And that is what Jake do. They call the evil good. So things like sorcery, witchcraft, you hear them talk about, the astrology, signs, and all this sort of bullshit that they believe in. And they talk about a manifestation and the earth and the aligning of these things and all this sort of bullshit that they believe in. So they call the evil good and the good evil. So when it comes to like things of the Lord, they would consider that to be evil. telling them to seek the Lord and turn to the scriptures and so on. They would basically call that evil, but to put chicken blood in their hair, and many other rituals that they do, as the guy said here, is widely used here in Miami, or some kind of ritual. That is something they do. You hear these women boast. You see countless of videos of them boasting about what they do to trap a man, right? They would put the period blood in macaroni or in meatballs, and it have a growing tradition right now, where men was given accounts how they don't want to eat, or they have been told from the mother or some aunt that if a woman gives them macaroni or spaghetti and meatball, don't eat it, right? Usually the woman would do the witchcraft, the sorcery, and they would put it inside of the meatball, right? So you see where these people, they love what? They love Jake and Jake. They love the evil, right? And they hate the good. So you say, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light. So that is what they do. They put the darkness for light, And I say, and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And that is what they do. They twist everything upside down, right? So things that would be considered to be what? Evil, wickedness, right? They would consider that to be good. And the things that are actually good, they would consider that to be bad. Telling them, what, to turn and seek the Lord. Telling them to stop do these abominable stuff that they continue to do. That would be considered an evil work to them. But telling them to do witchcraft, telling them to do voodoo and some sort of abominable act, that would be considered good, because they love these things. Right, so you see, voodoo, which is widely used here in Miami, or some kind of ritual. The very next day, she returned online with devastating news. Her baby had tragically passed away. The internet is now split on if this was a coincidence. Right, so people obviously believe that, how she touched the chicken blood, whatever voodoo it may be, it made the child pass away, right? Now, as I said before, I was reading one or two of the comments, and people were saying that usually the hairdresser put up skits, right, and do these type of stuff, right? But as I said, even though that it's that, you hear the stories and knowing certain things, right, that what these women do. So, and I'll see it through the spread, I'll touch upon it. So let's go to another scripture here. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 18. Deuteronomy 18 verse 10. Now before I go to that, I wanted to get a scripture here, right? Let me get this gate here quick, right? You know what? I'll go this, right? So let me read Deuteronomy 18, right? This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 18 verse 10, right? So it says, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his sons or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. So let's go to divination, right? Divination, right? Divination. It said divination is a practice of seeking knowledge about the future, hidden information, or guidance through occult rituals. So that is what Jake in, right? But the scripture is telling us what not, right? So it said, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. So these things are not supposed to be taken part in. So to stay away from it, right? Take no part. So it says through occult rituals, omens, or supernatural, divine, or spiritual rather than logical means, right? It is a widespread, historically and culturally rooted method of making decisions, and often in religious context, bypassing direct conventional sources. Who is supposed to turn to is the Lord, But these jakes, what they do is go to the witchcraft, to the sorcery, especially these women, they deep into it. These women be doing videos boasting and showing what it is to do to trap a man, to have a man need their love potions and all this other stuff, right? It's a usage examples. Common methods include astrology, and I was just mentioning that before. So that is something not even supposed to be taken part in. But hey, if it's one thing, and some of these men too, right? But majority be these women when it comes to this. Sorry, when it comes to this astrology situation, majority of the times you would see these women in it. They will probably, there's a Cancer, there's a Taurus, there's a some bullshit that there is, right? And they would see, well, this can't align with this, and them can't be together. And that is what they talk about. So that would say usage examples of divination. They say common methods include astrology, reading stars, tarot card reading, scrying, crystal balls, reading tea leaves, geomancy, earth markings. This is something Jake heavily in it. Look up, these earth women, and you go and see the Israelite woman there, right? They say on dowsing, water seeking, right? Water seeking. Let me just read this and see what it says. Water seeking. It says water seeking, commonly known as a dowsing, divining, or double bugging, is a traditional practice used to locate underground water using tools like forks, sticks, L-shaped method, rods, or pendulums. Oh, so it's like going into the artifacts and so forth, right? Okay. Right? So it says purpose to gain insight into personal questions, predict future events, or discover secrets, right? So that is what they do. They go to a witch, a warlock, as the scriptures say here, enchanter, right? A observer of times. They would go to them to find out certain things. Would I be with this? These women go and they would ask, like, would I be with so and so in the future? Tell them my mother died. I want to hear she voice. And all these things that they do, right? It says synonyms: fortune telling, prophecy. Now this is actually wrong, right? But it says prophecy, auguring, soothsaying, clairvoyance, presage, or prescience. It says the art or practice of using supernatural means to foresee the future. So using supernatural means, right? So, hey, how could that be prophecy? But nonetheless, it's to foresee the future or discover hidden knowledge, and often magical ritual or sometimes extra sensory perception. So it says religious or spiritual, seeking guidance apart from God, as mentioned in Deuteronomy 10-12, and that is what I'm reading right now. So as it said, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that use a divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, you say, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer, right? All these things. And I now mention some of them that what they do. So you're supposed to stay away. You're not supposed to go into them. But this is something that these women do, right? They do their love potions, their astrology, they go into the necromancers and so forth and so on, right? So it says, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God, thou drive them out from before thee. Right? So yeah. So it's literally supposed to stay away from that, not go into it. And that's what the Lord say, for all that do these things, an abomination to the Lord is an abomination. And the Lord say what? He hated all abomination. He didn't say he pardoned some or he loved some. He say he hated all abominations. So these type of things, as you could see here, let me just go back to the video, play it a little bit.
Chicken blood out of her hair. Why do you have chicken blood in your hair though? Stop. I'm really curious. Like, how does that even happen? You gotta cook fried chicken. Maybe not a Haitian brother. Actually, it's not shit. Nobody give a fuck about you, Fanny. Fanny ass. Yeah, y'all see her. Hold on, baby. Love when you do my hair. I just love when I do your hair too. I'm walking out right now. You can walk out, but go ahead.
So this basically was the hairdresser putting up that she lost her daughter or something along those lines, right? So let's go back now. let's go to Exodus 22 verse 18, right? And this is how serious it is. This is the book of Exodus chapter 22 verse 18. It says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, and that is straight to the point. It have no gain around it, right? That's how serious it is with the Lord, that it said, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live, right? That was serious it used to be back then. Now we know we living in this society where evil, it's very, persistent. It's evil is one of the easiest things to do or to take part in this place. Because why? It's the wicked rule, right? And we know the deep sorceries that Esau Edom they be in, right? So let me just read some of the comments here. It says voodoo is not real, and while it is sad that a daughter has died, there is no correlation to the chicken blood, because again, voodoo is not real. There is no science behind that. So this is a guy that believes in science, right? It's you can step on a crack today and your auntie die next week. Doesn't mean it was a crack you stepped on. It says she has chicken blood in her hair, which is covered with white head covering. She's just completed a Santeria cleansing or ritual. She's not allowed to talk about it, but I can. So you can see that they're doing the rituals, and we don't read about that, right? We don't read about those things. Let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 19. Verse 26, it says, ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantment, nor observer of times, right? No observer of times. And so let me jump down a little bit. Let me go to verse 31. It says, regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord thy God, right? So straight to it. These are things that you're not supposed to be, taking part in. No matter how much right you think it's wrong, right? It's wrong, and the Lord is saying to not take part in it, to stay away from it, right? So this person say this is absolute chilling. Miami has some deep-rooted traditions, but seeing them turn into tragedy like this is terrifying, right? So yeah, right? But you can see these women again. You to be careful who it is you put in yourself with. Next thing you know, you lie down in the bed and one of them pop up in your girl. She had chicken blood, and or she doing the period blood thing with the spaghetti and meatball, right? It's a serious thing outside here. Right? Let's go to the Deuteronomy 12, verse 31. Right? It says, thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he had hated. Let me read it over. It says, thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for every abomination to the Lord which he hated have they done unto their gods, for even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. Right? You say, what things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor diminish from it. And what the Lord commands us to do is to stay away and not take part in these things. And that is what you have to do. You can't say you love the Lord and you're going to a witch, you're going to a sorcerer, you believe in astrology and all this bullshit. You have these Christians that will go to church, but they would have they would believe in the astrology and as a cancer and all this bullshit, right? This is thing to stay away from, right? It's not good. Matter of fact, is an abominable act, right? So with that, once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. We say double and say apostle and elders agree, Muslim and rule, our teachers, our apostles should, and we say salutations to the Akim, to the pusher who on truth and sincerity. Day in and day out, and constantly in season and season, we say Shalom.